Installing Joomla. In this lesson, we'll review how to install Joomla, log on to the back end, and then how to view your site. Joomla has made the installation process very easy by taking you through the screen step by step. To get to this site, all you have to do is bring up the host directory of wherever you put the Joomla files. So if you put them in public_HTML, then you're just going to go to the root folder of the directory or just your root domain name. The first question they ask here on the installation is what language you want to use. I'm going to keep it as English and then click Next. For the pre-installation check, it actually verifies that you have all the correct versions of PHP installed in order to move forward with the installation of your site. Now you can click Next. Now you have just the GNU General Public License, or GPL. You can click Next here. Now it's going to ask you about your database settings. On the database configuration page, this is where you're going to specify what your database name is and your username. This is something that you set up when you were setting up your host, either using your cPanel or if you were setting up locally on your PC. First of all, I'm going to change the database type to MySQL. For now, I'm going to leave the host name as localhost because my hosting company lets me keep it as localhost. I will put in my username. I'll put in my password. Then the database name. Next, they have the table prefix. In prior versions of Joomla, the prefix for all of your table names used to be JOS _. Now they give you the capability of defining this yourself. I'm going to just keep it with the randomly generated values that it gave me. I'm going to make note of it just to write it down. So if I have multiple databases or tables in the same area, I know which databases is for which. The next question is if it finds an old database there, if you want to back it up or remove it. And then I'll click Next. The next step is the FTP configuration of Joomla. I always leave this blank because I prefer to work with FTP through my client, FileZilla or CuteFTP, and not through Joomla. But if you wanted to, you could set this up. For right now, I'm just going to click Next. The main configuration page has been upgraded, especially with the version of 2.5. First of all, here I can enter my site name. So I'm going to call it my Joom Aquarium. And then if you click on Advanced Settings, right here I can set the meta description, the meta keywords, and if I want the site offline. Let's put in a description about my site. This is the Joom Aquarium. And then some keywords, aquarium, Joomla. The meta description or keywords are basically HTML codes that are used for search engines. This is not something that you have to set up now, but it's definitely convenient to take care of it now. The site offline, this option is brand new for 2.5, meaning that I can turn the site off right now. If I click on yes here, that means when I visit the site, it's going to be offline, which is very convenient to set that up in the beginning, especially if you don't want people visiting the site. For now, so we can easily view the site, I'm going to click this to no. The next step is the admin email and password. In here, I put in my email address. And then we have another new feature that's in 2.5. The admin username, I can actually specify it. In 1.5 sites, it was always defaulted as admin, and then you'd have to go into the user manager to change it. I highly recommend that you change this to a different username, so it makes it more secure. And then I can give it a password. And then I confirm it. The next area down here is installing a sample data set. What this means is Joomla will actually set up the site for you with basic setup data. What's nice about clicking on this button is then when you first go to your site, you will actually have data in it. You will have to remove the data to make it valid for your own website, but it does help you out so you kind of know where things are. I'm going to click on it here. Once the sample data is installed, you'll see the button will turn to Sample Data Installed Successfully. Now we'll scroll back up and click on the next button. When you're on the Finish page, they give you some information here. First of all, they tell you to remember to completely remove the installation directory. You will not be able to proceed beyond this point until the installation directory has been removed. This is a security feature of Joomla. They've given us a button here so we can remove the installation folder as part of the installation instead of having to go back to the server. So I'm going to click on the button now. And now the installation folder has been successfully removed. Another thing they have on the screen is they tell me what my admin username is right here. Very important that you write this down. Another important note is you have the username set here so you can remember what your Joomla admin username is. Next, from this page, you can either click on the Site button or Administrator. Site will take you to a preview of your actual website, and Administrator will take you to your Administrator panel. Let's click on Site so we can see what we just built. This is a site that you just built from your Joomla installation. Because we clicked on Install Sample Data, you could see the sample data in here. As a note, the sample data actually gives you information on how you can run your Joomla site. So basically, it gives you information if you're a beginner, an upgrader, or a professional. It tells you a little bit about Joomla as well. Something else in this site is it has sample sites. If you go on the left-hand side under this site and click on Sample Sites, you can see there's Australian Parks and the Fruit Shop. If you go to Australian Parks and click on Parks Home, it takes you to this sample data site that they've already built for you. You don't have to use this in the real world, but this gives you ideas of different ways that your site can look. To get back to sample sites, I can click on Sample Sites, and then click on Fruit Shop, and then click on Welcome. And this will take me to the Fruit Shop site. To return home, on the top left side, I can click on Home. After you've viewed the preview of your sample data test site, let's go to the Administrator panel. I'm going to open up my new tab and go to my root directory of my website. I will then type in the code after my root directory, administrator, ADMINISTRATOR. This takes me to the back end of the website. I can put in my username, my password, and click Login. Now I'm on the back end of my website. In the back end of your website, you can make lots of modifications to your site, to your content, work with modules, and work with the menus, which we'll do later on in the course. In this lesson, we did the following. We installed Joomla using Joomla's installation tools. We then viewed the sample site with the test data, and then we logged into the back end or to the administrator panel.